Come on in, welcome to my home. Today, we're going to talk about a couple, maybe a few products that I had gotten the chance to review doing the Amazon Vine product review thing. So I did get these products for free so that I could give an honest review on Amazon. You've probably seen the reviews down in when you go down to the description of something and it has reviews for products. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of reviews. I'm going to try to end on a good note because the reviews I have to tell you about don't end as well as I thought they would. But let's get started. My first review is for, I'm pulling up the box. I'll show you a better picture of the box and everything. My first review is for this, which is this wonderful vacuum, which is a 3000 PA vacuum. It has a 6-hour charge time. It weighs 3.2 kilograms and it has the standard battery power. There are 2 buttons: automatic charging, dust box, water tank, remote control, 3 levels of suction adjustment. Hang on, let me put the box down. And that is all fine and dandy. I mean, that's great and wonderful. Let's talk about this. Okay, so did I have any problems setting this up? No, it sets up really nicely. I mean, you just fill the water tank, make sure that the mopping pad is on there, and this is what I was sort of excited about, because my vacuum that I have is what I would call a dumb vacuum. I have a iRobot Roomba 5E, I do believe. And I've had it for years and years and years, like before the technology of really mapping out a room came out. So I'm used to a robot that you just sit down, it goes in a whatever wonky pattern it has until it's done vacuuming. Cool, wonderful. Mom has an EcoVac. Yeah, it maps things out. It goes in a total pattern. You can see where it's gone. It's really cool. Smart robot. So now we have some terms we can deal with. Smart robot versus dumb robot. We are dealing with dumb robots, but since I had mine, I knew exactly what to expect. So I charged it up, I put it down on the floor, and within a few seconds, it got stuck. And I'm like, wait. So I watched it for a couple minutes, and one of the things that I was noticing was it wouldn't back up. And so I kept thinking, well, does it not have the capability of backing up? Then I was just like, well, no, I literally watched it back up off the charger, so obviously it can back up. But when it came into like an obstacle or anything, it wouldn't. It absolutely did not back up. And I retried this several different times, same thing. Would not back up whatsoever. And I'm like, okay, that's an issue, but we can press forward. We can do this. Then as I was lifting it up to move it to another place, I noticed that the mop pad was wet. I'm like, well, that's interesting, because this also is supposed to have smart technology, so it knows when it should mop and it knows when it should vacuum. Well, I hadn't put it down on anything that needed mopped. It was only on the rug, yet the mop was wet. And I was like, that's a little weird. So I went over and I felt the rug, and guess what? The rug was damp. I'm like, not real cool, okay. So then I was like, all right, I'll try it again. I will put it down. We'll see if it vacuums up anything. It didn't. Absolutely. And I have a corgi. I have dog hair all over the place. That's the big thing. And it's supposed to be really good at picking up pet hair. It's not. It was not good at picking up pet hair. In fact, it picked up nothing. Zero, zippo, nada. Not a thing did it pick up. And I'm like, well, this is bad. What the heck? So it has the ability to you can remote control your vacuum. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, okay, that's fine and dandy and everything. But if I really wanted a vacuum that I would remote control, why wouldn't I just vacuum it myself? The only thing about this would be that I wouldn't be standing up behind it. I could be sitting in my chair, but I'd still need to see it because it does not have a camera on it, so I could tell it where to go. So I'd still have to see it. This isn't going to save me any time, any energy. It did not vacuum well. And so then I started thinking, well, what is the criteria for a good product like this? Well, one of them would be it would have to be able to run on its own. I don't care, because when I vacuum, and I'm sure I'm probably going to show you some shots of my Roomba vacuuming, I move the furniture out so it, well, not all of it, but most of the furniture out so it can go through and vacuum things up. I have no problem with that whatsoever, but I don't have to watch it. If I have to watch the vacuum so to make sure that it doesn't get caught on things, and I mean caught against a wall, I have an issue. I have a big issue. So it wouldn't save me any time, because then I couldn't go and do something else. I'd have to watch it. The other part about this is the fact that, okay, I do like the fact that it didn't have vacuum bags. Yes, some of them have vacuum bags that fill up and you have to throw away the bag. It didn't have those. So I'm like, well, that's a really good thing. But it didn't work. And so I did a review of the product. And normally if you do a review and the product doesn't work and you give a low review, they're like, oh, the company will contact you about, oh, we'd like to contact you so we can make this better. Didn't hear from them. In fact, I'm not even sure they are still selling the product. This one did not work. And so I was trying to think, well, who is this for? Is this for people who would want to make like an entry level into the robot vacuum thing? And I'm just like, well, if it is, but it doesn't work, you're not getting an entry level into the robot vacuuming world. You're actually just wasting money. Not good. Not good at all. So I decided, nope. So I gave it a bad review. It got stuck. It didn't vacuum well. Bad review. Let's talk about the next product. This is the P-Rich mixer, stand mixer. From the word go, we had issues. When I got the box, I was just like, wait, there's a stand mixer in here? I have a KitchenAid stand mixer. It's a 4.5 quart stand mixer. It's the same size as that one. However, my stand mixer weighs 23 pounds without anything, just the mixer itself. This one weighs 13 pounds. And you're like, well, you're just being a snob because you think stand mixers have to weigh something. And I'm like, well, no, as long as it works, it works. That's really great. The problem was, it's really light. As in, like, I've made things like marshmallows in my stand mixer. To make marshmallows in my stand mixer, it has to run for, I think, 10, 15 minutes at a time. That didn't do it. It didn't run for 10, 15 minutes at a time. In fact, it started heating up after 3 minutes. 3 minutes. It started getting warm. I had to unplug it because it was getting warm enough that it bothered me after 3 minutes. Not a good thing. Then I was thinking, well, should I even try making something in it, like something heavy? So I was just like, well, okay, let's do something else. Let's just put something in there that I could, I don't know, possibly see if it would run. So I put some water in, turned it back on, and it wouldn't start. Didn't start. Like, as in, it just wouldn't go. So it heated up to the point where it no longer worked. And I was just like, okay, this is interesting. But I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. We'll let it sit for a day. Don't ask me why I thought letting it sit for a day would do anything. But I did. I let it sit for a day, started it back up, and it did start up this time. However, I didn't even bother with trying to mix something up in there because, one, I was worried about like getting particles or anything in it because the stand mixer, it is not strong. Like cookie dough, that sort of thing, it's not strong enough. This would be a great mixer if, once again, you wanted to get into the idea of having a stand mixer, but you didn't want to put the outlay of the money, because stand mixers can be very, very expensive. That being said, my KitchenAid stand mixer is now, I think, 17 years old. Yeah, and I love my KitchenAid. I use it all the time. You've seen it in videos. I love that stand mixer. Use it all the time. Think it's great. But when you're getting into these products, and a lot of these products are like cheaper products for like entry-level products. And I'm like, well, are entry-level products really a good thing? And that's the biggest question. Because entry-level products are a good way to get into it when you can't afford the big thing, especially if you're not sure you're actually going to use the big thing. but they also can be like a deterrent. Because if you get an entry-level product and it doesn't work, you're not going to even think about getting the more expensive one because the entry-level product did not work for you. So then your brain says, nope, can't do it, won't do it, it won't work. That's bad. Because if I would have gotten an entry-level stand mixer, I would have never gotten the stand mixer that I have. I probably would have never started these videos because, yeah, the mixer didn't work. That would have been bad. That would have been sad. But like I said, I don't want to end these on a bad note. So let's talk about the ice maker. Mom loves this ice maker because it makes the good ice. Yes, it makes the little cubes of ice. This thing works. It's a little loud. That's okay. The ice cubes are just those tiny little cubes of ice. I think it's cool. You just fill it up with water. It does have, you do need to run through 3 cycles at least for cleaning it before you use it, or after you've let it sit for a while. Let it sit, run through its 3 cycles, then you can make ice. The thing I liked about this is, since I can fill it up with the water that I like, I can fill it up with the water that I like. Which means that I can take filtered water and put it in there, distilled water. I have not tried sparkling water yet. We might have to try that. But I can fill it up with the water that I like. It makes nice ice cubes. They do hold for quite a while. I can put it right at the sink so that way when it's hot outside, like today where we have a heat advisory, I can drain it into the sink. The stand mixer, the ice maker is really nice. I mean, is it something that I'm going to use a lot? No, probably not. Is it something that Mom wants over at her house so she can use it a lot? No, we have a corgi. Faith is like, she barks at leaves, let alone something that'd make the noise of a ice maker. But it is something that I will use. It is something that I didn't have a problem trying to find a spot to put it. So I enjoyed that. I mean, that's the cool thing about this is when you look at entry-level products, and yes, the ice maker I would consider an entry-level product, think about the product and think about what the actual price of a standard product is. If it seems too cheap to be believed, it is. It's too cheap to be believed. There's a way that they get around the expenses. One of them that I found with the stand mixer is it's like almost all plastic. In fact, I think it is all plastic. And you're like, well, that's not that big of a deal. It is if you're making pizza dough. If you're making pizza dough and all of your gears are plastic, pizza dough's tough. It's really tough. So there's a high possibility of breaking off the gears. Am I saying that would happen? No, I'm not. There are quite a few entry-level products that are really good products. But it's one of those things where you have to look at it and say, is it a good idea? Is it not a good idea? Is it too lightweight? Because the other thing about this, which I hadn't even thought of until I started doing this, it has suction cups on the bottom. The stand mixer has suction cups on the bottom of it. Do you know why it has suction cups on the bottom of it? For the same reason that your food processor has suction cups on the bottom of it, because it's light. It's really light. So if you're mixing something, say like eggs, that speed can go really fast, and it's so light that it wouldn't hold itself down. Yeah. I can't have a mixer that won't hold itself down. I can't have a vacuum that gets stuck against a wall. I can't have an ice maker that's a little loud. That's okay. But yeah, so what I'm trying to say is like, really think about the product. Really think if you're going to use it. Ask other people who've had them. Like I said, I love my iRobot. Yeah, it's a dumb robot. It doesn't have a plan of attack. You can't tell it to go clean a room. You know, Mom's EcoVac. You can tell it to go clean a room, and it'll go clean a room. Is that fine with me? Yes. Would I love to have an EcoVac someday? Oh yeah, I'd love to have an EcoVac that could just say, hey, clean the living room, and it would. But until then, this is fine. But be cautious. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So once again, my whole thing about this is the mixer, no. The vacuum, no. The ice maker, yes, loved it. Enjoying it right now. In fact, we're going to hook it up today because it is so hot. Yeah. So I'd love to hear from you. Have you gotten any entry level items that you were like, "Oh, this seems like a good idea," and it wasn't, or an entry level item that seemed like it wouldn't work and it did? Let me know down in the comments what you've had about entry level products and what you think about them. Like I said, these are my reviews for these two things. There's not much of a review because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They didn't. I'd like to take this time to thank these wonderful people who let me go through and test out things which aren't really going to work. If you're interested in helping this channel grow and prosper and get further ahead and try bigger things, you can go ahead and join the Patreon or the channel members for a monthly price. You get these videos early and you get a weekly vlog, which you've seen the weekly vlog, a couple of them now. Where you get to the behind the scenes things of what goes into making these videos. And so they got to see me test out this vacuum before because, well, and I had some choice words that I won't use here. So you could do that. If you also want to help this channel grow, but you don't want to spend any money, there's another way. Watch the videos, share the videos, like the videos. Those help. That really does help the YouTube algorithm know that this is a video that other people should see. I hope you enjoyed this. I will put links in the description and probably something's on there, but I'll also put links into the description of the things that I do like. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and I hope we get to see you again the next time you stop by.